In the early hours of October 10th, a wave of explosions shattered the silence over Zaporizhzhia. Russian missiles and drones ripped through Ukraine's power grid, setting off massive blackouts across multiple regions. Within hours, homes, hospitals, and factories went dark. In Kyiv alone, hundreds of thousands of residents were left without electricity as emergency shutdowns swept across the country. According to the Kyiv Independent, the strikes caused severe damage to critical infrastructure, forcing authorities to impose emergency power cuts in several regions to prevent a complete grid collapse. The timing of these attacks is no coincidence. They come just as the country braces for winter, reviving memories of last year's devastating energy crisis. So what exactly happened during this latest onslaught? How bad is the damage? And what does it mean for Ukraine's future as the war grinds on? Let's break it down. The attack began in the early morning hours when waves of Russian cruise missiles and Shahed-type drones struck energy facilities in the Zaporizhzhia region. Local authorities reported that several power substations and transmission lines were hit, triggering large-scale outages. The assault wasn't limited to Zaporizhzhia. Ukrainian officials confirmed that power infrastructure across 9 regions was targeted in what's being described as one of the largest energy-focused attacks since the start of the year. In Kyiv, Kharkiv, Dnipropetrovsk, and Odessa, the grid operator Ukrenergo was forced to implement rolling blackouts to stabilize the system. According to NBC News, more than 800,000 residents in Kyiv lost power at one point before emergency crews managed to restore electricity to most areas. However, the situation remained unstable, with intermittent outages and localized shutdowns continuing for several days. The Russian Defense Ministry claimed the strikes were aimed at energy facilities that support Ukraine's military operations. But Ukrainian officials and Western observers say the attacks targeted civilian infrastructure deliberately, part of a renewed campaign to cripple the country's energy system before the cold sets in. The immediate impact was widespread and disruptive. Cities across Ukraine were plunged into partial or total darkness. Streetlights went out, trams and metro lines stopped running, and water pressure dropped in several districts. The Kyiv city administration reported that critical facilities like hospitals and shelters switched to backup power, but many smaller clinics and residential areas were left struggling. According to Reuters, energy companies worked through the night to repair damaged substations and reconnect customers. By October 11th, power had been restored to most of the 800,000 affected in Kyiv, but nationwide, millions continued to experience rolling blackouts. Water supply systems were also affected, with pumping stations temporarily shutting down due to lack of power. Residents were urged to conserve water, while authorities warned that heating services could be disrupted if the outages persisted. Beyond the technical damage, the psychological toll was immense. After more than 2 years of war, Ukrainians have learned to live with air raids and sirens. But the return of mass blackouts rekindled memories of last winter when Russian strikes left entire cities freezing in sub-zero temperatures. An official from Ukraine's energy ministry said Russia wants to make them fear the cold again. Repair crews, often working under threat of renewed missile attacks, have become frontline defenders in their own right. Each repair operation takes hours or even days, especially when high-voltage equipment has to be replaced. And every time power is restored, a new strike risks undoing that progress. Meanwhile, the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant remains a ticking time bomb. Running solely on diesel generators is unsustainable, and international observers from the International Atomic Energy Agency continue to express concern over the plant's safety. If even one generator fails, the cooling systems could be compromised, potentially leading to a serious radiological incident that would affect not only Ukraine, but neighboring countries as well. This latest blackout marks more than just another round of destruction. It signals a return to Russia's winter energy offensive strategy. As reported by the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, the strikes coincide with Moscow's growing concerns over potential U.S. arms deliveries, including the rumored provision of Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine. Some analysts suggest the timing of the attacks could be Russia's way of demonstrating its reach and capability, even as Western nations debate new aid packages. Strategically, energy has become one of Moscow's most effective pressure points. By hitting Ukraine's grid, Russia not only disrupts the country's military logistics, but also undermines civilian morale and economic productivity. Every blackout means factories halt, businesses close, and communication networks falter, a silent war that slowly erodes daily life. At the same time, these attacks highlight the vulnerability of Ukraine's energy infrastructure. Despite international assistance, much of the grid remains centralized and exposed. Experts now argue that Ukraine must accelerate efforts to decentralize power generation, investing in microgrids, renewable sources, and underground cabling to prevent cascading failures. For Europe, too, this crisis is a warning. The continent's energy security is closely tied to Ukraine's stability, and a prolonged blackout or nuclear incident at Zaporizhzhia could trigger a wider regional emergency. European leaders are increasingly alarmed by Moscow's willingness to use energy infrastructure as a political weapon, not just within Ukraine, but as leverage over the broader European energy market. Ultimately, these strikes are not just tactical, they are psychological. They remind Ukrainians that nowhere is truly safe, and that even in the absence of ground offensives, their power, heat, and light remain under constant threat. Yet, as in previous years, the Ukrainian grid operators and civilians continue to adapt and recover, an act of resilience that may prove just as important as any weapon on the battlefield. So, that's what we have for today. Thanks for watching.